All right, let's dig into Coeur Mining. They're a huge name in precious metals, and honestly, they've been making some pretty serious waves lately. So, we're going to figure out what's really driving the story behind this company that's been around for almost 100 years.
It's so easy to just think of gold and silver as numbers on a screen or a price ticker, right? But that stuff has to come from somewhere. It all starts deep in the earth, and it's companies like Coeur that are actually out there getting it.
So yeah, Coeur Mining is definitely not the new kid on the block. They've been pulling precious metals out of the ground since way back in 1928. Think about that. They're what you'd call a pure-play gold and silver producer, which just means they are laser-focused on those two metals. And all of their mines are right here in North America.
And they've got a really impressive footprint across the continent. I mean, look at this. Their operations go from the silver and gold mines down in Mexico, all the way up to gold mines in Nevada, South Dakota, and even way up in Alaska. Spreading things out like this is a really key part of their whole strategy.
Okay, so how does a company like this actually turn, dirt into dollars? Let's break down their business model. It's actually pretty simple in concept, but the scale of it all is just massive.
It really just boils down to these four big steps. First, you got to find the gold and silver. That's the whole exploration game. Then comes the really heavy lifting, turning that discovery into a real working mine. After that, it's all about digging up the rock, the ore, and processing it to get the good stuff out. And the final step? Well, that's selling those metals on the global market.
And that's the heart of it, right there. They make a physical thing, gold and silver bars, and they get paid whatever the going market rate is. Simple enough. But the real story here, the thing that's so interesting, is how their whole financial picture has just radically changed. You're going to hear Coeur talk a lot about a step change. Now, this isn't just some fancy corporate jargon. It really describes this fundamental shift in their business, moving from a time of really heavy spending to a new period of just massive cash generation. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Management says it right here. This was all part of the plan. All those years of huge investments, like building out their massive Rochester mine, were designed to set them up for this exact moment.
Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. This slide shows you the before picture perfectly. See 2023, that huge negative red bar? We're talking nearly $300 million. That's what the investment phase looks like. They were burning way more cash than they were bringing in, all to build for the future.
And boom, here's the after. With those huge projects finally done, just look at the explosion in earnings. That's adjusted EBITDA, and they're forecasting it to hit over $1 billion in 2025. I mean, that is the step change in action. It's the difference between spending money and making a whole lot of money.
Now, I've mentioned free cash flow a couple of times. Let's make that super simple. It's basically the company's take-home pay. After you pay all the bills, all the costs of running the business, all the investments to grow, it's the actual hard cash left over in the bank. It's a massive indicator of a company's financial health.
And the sheer scale of Coeur's new cash machine is just wow. In the third quarter of 2025, their management actually called it a free cash flow party. And get this, it was running at a pace of roughly $2 million per day.
So all that spending they did, was it smart? How do we grade them? Well, this chart is basically their report card. It's a metric called Return on Invested Capital, or ROIC. And as you can see, their projected 26.4% for 2025 is expected to be at the top of their class, leading their entire peer group.
So what even is ROIC? Just think of it like this. It's a grade on how smart a company is with its cash. It answers a really simple question. For every single dollar they plowed into those big mine projects, how many cents of profit are they now making back from it each and every year? A high number, like Coeur's, tells you those were probably some very smart investments.
Okay, so the numbers look pretty impressive, but what does management see coming up on the horizon? Because, let's be real, every business has things that help them out, we call those tailwinds, and things that challenge them, the headwinds.
So, on the one hand, management seems pretty pumped about some powerful tailwinds. Rising gold and silver prices, that's a huge lift. They're also growing by buying another company, and they've seen inflation start to cool off. But on the flip side, they've still got challenges. They have to deal with the wild swings of those same metal prices, the built-in risks of just running a mine, and of course, the huge job of bringing that new company into the fold.
But all things considered, the tone from the top is incredibly optimistic. I mean, this quote from their latest earnings call really says it all. They are gearing up for what they fully expect to be another record-setting year. So after we've dug through all of that, what's the bottom line here? Let's lay out the bull case, the reasons you might be optimistic, right next to the bear case, which are the reasons for a little bit of caution.
The bull case is pretty clear, right? That financial step change looks like the real deal. They are flipping the switch and are set to generate tons of cash, and the return on investment looks like it's going to be best in class. Plus, they're growing. The bear case, though, is just as easy to see. Their success is tied directly to the price of gold and silver, which can go anywhere. Mining itself is a risky business, and blending two big companies together is never a walk in the park. So it really comes down to weighing that awesome operational story against the big market risks they just can't control.
And that really leaves us with the big question, is this major shift from investing to harvesting a sustainable new reality for Coeur Mining? Now, as always, please remember this overview is just for educational purposes. It is absolutely not financial advice. It is so important to do your own deep dive research before you make any investment decisions. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.